Today I'm going to give away a free t-shirt, bring you a special Black History segment, bring you comics news, and reveal the books I bought this week. How y'all doing? I'm Victor, and you are watching a Comic Hero Show. Now kick that intro! Welcome to this week's edition of the Comic Hero Show. I'm your host Victor Nunley, and I am the Comic Hero. Now, this month is Black History Month, and I'm wearing a shirt in observance of that, but I'm going to touch base on that a little later on. But for right now, it's time to give away a free t-shirt. Alright, last week's episode I asked which city was the base of operations of the Hulk's Joe Fixit persona. Well, the correct answer is Las Vegas. Now, it was kind of funny because one of the hints that I gave on last week's episode, it's funny, but it's also true. And that hint is, this city sees 300 weddings a day. And the reason I say that is because I personally know a couple who are fans of the show who got married in Las Vegas. And I think they recently celebrated their wedding anniversary, so congratulations, guys. Alright, the answer is Las Vegas, and 11 of y'all have answered correctly, and because y'all answered correctly, your name's been entered in the drawing for a free tee. And that drawing takes place right now. So the winner of the free tee for this week's episode of the show is... DeSheryl Windsor from Minton, Louisiana. So congratulations, DeSheryl. Win yourself a free Comic Hero tee. Alright, here's a question for next week's episode, and this is a Black History question, and it's also a Marvel question. In the comics, which Black Marvel superhero was born and raised in London, England? Alright, here are the hints. The first hint is that this character made their first appearance in Tomb of Dracula number 10 in 1973, and was created by Marv Wolfman and Gene Colan. Alright, the second hint is that this character's code name is a noun meaning a sharp edge of a knife, a sword, a saw, or any other tool or weapon. And then the third and final hint, and this is a dead giveaway, especially if you're a moviegoer. This Marvel character has had 3 movies, with Wesley Snipes starring in all 3 of them as the lead character. And then also, there's going to be another Marvel movie coming out next year with Mahershala Ali playing the lead role. Everyone who answers correctly will be entered in a drawing for a free tee on next week's episode of the show. Now, usually I would have the Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown segment, or either the Any Questions segment up next. But because it's Black History Month, I want to feature this the special Black History segment that I did a few years ago that features 2 of the most beloved Black comic book creators. And I'm talking about Dennis Cowan and the late great Dwayne McDuffie. So, here we go. Dwayne McDuffie was an American writer of comic books and television, known for creating the animated series Static Shock, writing and producing the animated series Justice League Unlimited and Ben 10, and co-founding the pioneer minority-owned and operated comic book company, Milestone Media. Going on staff at Marvel as Bob Budiansky's assistant on special projects, McDuffie helped develop the company's first superhero trading cards. He also scripted stories for Marvel. His first major work was Damage Control, a mini-series about the company that shows up between issues and tidies up the mess left by the latest round of superhero supervillain battles. After becoming an editor at Marvel, McDuffie submitted a spoof proposal for a comic entitled Teenage Negro Ninja Thrashers in response to Marvel's treatment of black characters. Becoming a freelancer in 1990, McDuffie wrote dozens of various comics for Marvel, DC, and Archie Comics. In the early 1990s, wanted to express a multicultural sensibility that he felt was missing in comic books. McDuffie and three partners founded Milestone Media. The Plain Dealer of Cleveland, Ohio, described in 2000 as the industry's most successful minority-owned and operated comic company. McDuffie explained, and I quote, "If you do a black character or a female character or an Asian character, then they aren't just characters. They represent that race or that sex, and it can't be interesting because everything they do has to represent an entire block of people. You know, Superman isn't all white people, and neither is Lex Luthor. We knew we had to present a range of characters within each ethnic group, which means that we couldn't just do one book. We had to do a series of books, and we had to present a view of the world that's wider than the world we've ever seen before." End quote. Milestone, whose characters include the African-American Static, Icon and Hardware, the Asian-American Zombie, and the multi-ethnic superhero group called the Blood Syndicate, which include Black, Asian, and Latino men and women, debuted its titles in 1993 through a distribution deal with DC Comics. Serving as editor-in-chief, McDuffie created or co-created many characters, including Static. He would later go on to create the Static Shock animated series. Sadly, in 2011, at the age of 49, McDuffie died from complications from emergency heart surgery. Dennis Cowan is a comics artist and an animation producer for Queens, New York. Some of his early work included being a regular artist on books like Peter Parker, The Spectacular Spider-Man, Superman, The Flash, and Detective Comics, but gained prominence as the primary artist on The Question, a comic book series written by Dennis O'Neil and published by DC beginning in February of 1987. While at Marvel, he served as penciler on the latter half of the Deathlock miniseries, which was written by Dwayne McDuffie and Gregory Wright, as well as on the subsequent regular title of the same name. He and McDuffie and two others would go on to co-found Milestone Media. In addition to being a comics artist, Cowan has served as a producer on the Static Shock animated series and senior vice president of animation at BET. These two men paved the way for other writers and artists in the black community to take on comics. Without them, the comics community wouldn't be as diverse and open as it is now.
All right, well, I hope y'all enjoyed that special segment, and that's going to be a staple on the Comic Hero Show every year as part of Black History Month moving forward. All right, now it's time for Comically Speaking, so without further ado, let's talk comics! All right, here's only one thing we're going to talk about, and that's the crossover event for Marvel called Dark Web. Now, I haven't finished it. I'm still in the middle of it, but it's very good. Now, the main catalyst for Dark Web is Madelyne Pryor, aka the Goblin Queen, aka Jean Grey's clone. She decides to wreak havoc from Limbo. She does not leave Limbo at all. She does all this from Limbo, and then also enlists the services of Chasm, aka Ben Reilly, aka the artist formerly known as that other Spider-Man, and also the services of his significant other, Janine. And just when we thought it couldn't get any worse, she also enlists the services of Venom. But the way that she does it, she tricks Venom into, at this point, Venom has become a symbiote god. He has ascended above and beyond anything we've ever seen in the past. Well, she tricks Venom and ends up somehow, some way, turning him back to the way he was when he first encountered the symbiote. In other words, back to his default settings. Well, Chasm, I mean, is tearing Spider-Man up. I mean, although Peter really doesn't want to fight him, but she's not really having any, but he's not really, doesn't really have much of a choice. And then Janine ends up infiltrating the X-Men's safe house in New York called the Treehouse, and ends up going through their technology stuff and finds a Cerebro spear and brings it back to Limbo to Madelyne. And then while Venom is still trying to go out and kill people, he finds Tyler all right, and Tyler is saying, "Look, Dad, you need to stop this." and the last issue I read in that crossover was Venom number 14. Really loving this. Marvel is starting to understand the assignment. They're starting to understand that they cannot allow Marvel Studios they can't let Marvel Studios compensate for their lack of storytelling. They understand that there are different divisions within Marvel, and that every division needs to click on all cylinders. So kudos to Marvel for a great story arc. I can't wait to finish. All right, that's it for Comically Speaking. Now let's get to the comics I bought this week.
Comic books I bought this week.
All right, here we go. First up is Batman Incorporated number 5. Fantastic Four number 4. The final issue, I Am Batman number 18. Lazarus Planet, Assault on Krypton. Lazarus Planet, Dark Fate. Lazarus Planet, Next Evolution. Monica Rambeau, Photon number 3. Radiant Pink number 1. Sins of Sinister. Storm and the Brotherhood of Mutants number 1. And finally, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 137. All right, that's 11, which brings the total number of comics that I bought since December of 1997 to 11,882. All right, well, I hope y'all enjoyed this week's episode, and here's a question again for a free tee for next week's episode of the show. In the comics, which black Marvel superhero was born and raised in London, England? Now, here are the hints again. The first hint is that this character made his first appearance in Tomb of Dracula number 10 in 1973 and was created by Marv Wolfman and Gene Colan. The second hint, this character's code name is another word for a sharp edge of a knife, sword, saw, or any other tool or weapon. And then the third and final hint, this character has had 3 movies with Wesley Snipes playing the character and another one coming out in 2024 with Mahershala Ali playing the character. Everyone who answers correctly will be entered in a drawing for a free tee on next week's episode of the show. And congratulations to the Cheryl Windsor from Minden, Louisiana, who won a free tee on this episode. All right, now this is Black History Month, and this when we celebrate the accomplishments of black people everywhere. And it's not just here in America, it's throughout the world. I mean, black people don't just live in America. I mean, there's black people all over. I mean, in Canada, in Australia, in Europe, you name it, they're there. And they give us a month to celebrate each other and to be celebrated. But here's the thing. Black history is made every day and it's celebrated every day. I mean, whenever we wake up to see another day and live that day to the fullest, that's black history. There was a time where our people weren't even guaranteed half a day, much less an entire day. And honestly, that's something to shout about. That we get to live every day and live it to the fullest. And then when we go out and we inspire people, we make a difference. or we do anything in the positive light, that's Black history. I mean, we've had artists, we've had musicians, recording artists, politicians, educators, doctors, scientists, engineers, nurses, judges, athletes, you name it, we've done it. And I'm very proud of my people. But we know that we still have a long way to go until we see what we really want, and that's equality. We have been on the receiving end of so many unspeakable, so many horrible things for centuries. And even though slavery doesn't really exist, racism still exists, and that's something that we really need to get rid of, because racism is wrong, and a lot of times we're on the receiving end of it. Now there's some people who believe when we start, marches or movements or anything, that we want dominion, that we want to start an empire, that we want to rule this entire world with iron fist. No. If you believe that, then you got it all kinds of twisted, because that's not what we want. We want equality, period. And this is a Black History, this is an I Am Black History comic hero tee. And inside the speech bubble, you have a tribal pattern. And then the CH represents us striving for and hoping for a better future. And then right here it says Black History, and it has the month crossed out, and under it has the word period. And here on the left sleeve, you have the words I Am Black History. And here on the left sleeve, you have a fist. And I don't know if y'all are going to be able to see this. Just a second. Now, if y'all see, you have the words comic hero, and in between them, a fist. And if you would like one of your very own, you can find them on my website, IamTheComicHero.com, for $20. And here's the thing. Because this is an I Am Black History comic hero tee, and Black History is made every day, this is not going to be a seasonal shirt. You can buy it and wear it year-round. So this will be on the website 24/7, 365. All right, now here's the rundown for the show. On next week's episode 435, I'm celebrating Heart Health Month, and that's to close out the month of February. Heart Health Month is, heart health is something that we need to take very seriously, because there's so many myths and so many other things so many myths that we've heard, and so many things we don't know about it, and I want to address those on next week's episode. Then on episode 436, in 2 weeks, I'm raising awareness of endometriosis. Now, this is something that I first raised awareness of for the first time a year ago, and it's a condition that affects women. Now, you're probably wondering, Vic, you're a guy. Why are you doing that? I may be a guy, and I may never experience it, but it still concerns me. And I also happen to know some women that have this condition. I'm not going to limit myself to certain things just because of my gender. That's not how life works. On episode 437, I'm raising awareness of brain injuries. Now, brain injuries happen often than we think. And one of the most common causes of brain injury are usually falls. And I'm going to raise awareness of that in 3 weeks. But if you're watching this for the first time on YouTube, welcome. And as soon as you're done, hit subscribe. And I'm telling you, I really love doing this show. I really love sharing my love of comics and life with y'all. And that is something that I will continue to do until I'm physically unable to. Bank on it. All right, I'm Victor Noli. I'm a comic hero. I'll see you next week for episode 435. So until then, be safe, be blessed, be a hero, and I am Black History.